took that book by Dr. Seuss and transformed it into the story, The Teacher Who Stole Christmas Break. Oh, man. The teacher being that tiggle mean Mrs. Bruce. For the three students who wrote the story. So students, come on over. I tell you, the first time that I read this story, I was very, very impressed. I think we have some very talented writers here. We have Jared Beebe. Some of the teachers may remember Jared as Jared LeBron, Deanna Simonis, and also Isaiah Heller. So let's give them a big applause. You to remember that our very own students wrote the story, and when they were young like you and they came to Fairview Elementary, when it was time to write stories in class, they really practiced, right, Jared? I think I remember this, kind of. And you worked really hard on your paragraph development, and that's how you became such a great writer, right? All right, thanks guys. Okay, so let's not wait another minute more. These three, the teachers and a special guest, hope you enjoy the story, The Teacher Who Stole Christmas Break. How dare her!
The Roos who lived just south of Fairview did not. The Roos hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be her head is not screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that her shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that her heart was 2 sizes too small. Whatever the reason, her heart or her shoe, she stood there close to Christmas break, hating that crew. Staring down from her stage with a sour, Roosy frown at the warm-hearted kids below on the ground.
Stop it!
For she knew every kid down in Fairview beneath was busy now packing up all their fake teeth.
And they're grabbing their book bags.
She snarled with a sneer.
Tomorrow is Christmas break. It's practically here.
Then she growled with her Roosy fingers nervously drumming.
I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming.
From nap time she knew all the Fairview girls and boys would wake bright and alert. They'd rush for their toys. And then...
Oh, the noise! Oh, the noise! 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 Noise!
That's one thing she hated.
The noise! 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 Noise!
And the students K through 5 would sit down to a feast.
And they feast. And they feast. And they feast. Feast, feast, feast.
They would feast on yummy cookies, hard candy, and a Christmas cupcake, which was something the Roos couldn't stand because she just could not bake. And then they'd do liked least of all, every kid down in Fairview, the tall and the small, Andy Motion, Andy Motion, Maddie Meyer, Maddie Meyer, come on. And then they do something she liked least of all. Every kid down in Fairview, the tall, Andy the tall, and Maddie the small, would stand close together with school bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand and the students would start singing. They'd
sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing. Sing, sing, sing.
Jingle bells, jingle bells,
And the more the Roos thought of this, ooh, Christmas sing, the more the Roos thought,
I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 46 years, I put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. Spring from coming. But how?
Then she got an idea, an awful idea. The Roos got a wonderful, awful idea.
I know just what to do.
The Roos laughed. So, Andy, what do you think her awful idea is? Stop Christmas break? Maddie, what do you think her awful idea is? What do you think she's going to do? She's going to find a way to ruin our Christmas break, isn't she? And while she's finding a way to ruin our Christmas break, Mr. Alvarez, isn't this the time you do your solo? I can tell a joke. I can tell a joke. Okay. While we're waiting, I tell a joke. What's red and white, and red and white, and red and white? Santa rolling down a hill. What did one snowman say to the other? Do you smell carrots? Okay. And she made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And she clucked and clucked.
What a great Roosy trick. With this coat and this hat, I'll look just like St. Nick. All I need is a reindeer.
The Roos looked around. But since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Roos? No, the Roos simply said,
If I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead.
so she called her dog Rose, and she took some red thread. And she tied a big horn on the top of her head. Then she loaded some bags with lots of bumpy toes. She loaded her bag with lots of bumpy toes.
Now, did you just say bumpy toes?
And that's what it says right here. Then she loaded some bags with lots of bumpy toes. Must be the only thing that rhymes with rose.
Oh, okay, whatever. Let's start that over again.
Okay. Then she loaded some bags with lots of bumpy toes. On a ramshackle sleigh, she hitched up old Rose. Then the Roos said,
Giddy up!
and the sleigh started cruising. Gotta pick up those toes. Listen, that's right. Got our friend right there.
He's holding it. There's two toes.
And the Roos said,
Giddy up!
and the sleigh started cruising toward Fairview, where the students sat in their chairs, all a-snoozing. All the students were dreaming sweet dreams about leaving. When she came to the first classroom on the right, they were heaving. Little Rusty Claus hissed, and she climbed through the window, emptying bags in her fist.
Whoa, wait.
What?
You said she climbed through the window with empty bags and fists.
Yeah?
Those bags aren't empty. It's not even a bag, it's a container full of funky frogs.
Oh, right. Oops. Okay. And she climbed. Oh, you guys can unfreeze now. Okay. And she climbed through the window, empty bag. Sorry. With a container full of bumpy frogs in her fist. Then she slid in the window and hurt her caboose. But if Santa could do it, then so could the Roos. She got stuck only once for a moment or two. Then she stuck her head out of the window and moved. Then she saw where the kids' book bags all hung in a row.
These book bags
She grinned.
are the first things to go.
Then she slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant. Around the whole room, she took every bag as a present. Pencils. Pencils. Erasers. Paper. Pens. School supplies. Anything. Pull it out of the bag. Checkerboards, kickballs, popcorn in a tin. And she stuffed them in bags. Then the Roos very nimbly stuffed all of the bags one by one up the chimney. Then she slumped to the cafeteria. She took the students' lunches. She took the kids' pudding. She took the kids' punches. She cleaned out that cafeteria as quick as a flash. Why, the Roos even took their last can of trash. Then she stuffed all the food and trash up the chimney with glee.
And now,
Grinned the Roos.
I will stuff up the tree.
And the Roos grabbed the tree and she started to shove. But she heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. She turned around fast and she saw a small pair of kicks, worn by a kid who was older than 6. The Roos had been caught by Mrs. Merritt's daughter, who left her classroom to get a sip of cold water. She stared at the Roos and said, "Santa Claus, She stared at the Roos and said,
Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?
but you know, that old Roos was so smart and so slick. She thought of a lie and she thought it up quick.
Why, my sweet little tot,
The fake Santa Claus lied.
there's a light on this tree that won't light up on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up here, then I'll bring it back here.
And her fib fooled the child. Then she patted her head. And she got her a drink and gave her some bread. And when Paigey Loo Hoo went to the class classroom with her cup. The Roos went up the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing she took was the lunch lady's fryer. On their school wall, she left nothing but hooks and some wire, and the one speck of food that she left in that room was a crumb that was even smaller than a tiny mushroom. It was 1/4 nap time, all the students still abed, all the kids still a snooze when she packed up her sled. Packed it up with their Christmas exchange presents, the pencils, the wrappings, the book bags and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. She rode with her load to the tip top with a
Woohoo! Poo-poo to those boos.
She was ruthlessly humming.
They're finding out now there's no Christmas breaks a-coming. They're just waking up, I know just what they'll do. They'll hang open their mouths a minute or two. Then the kids all in Fairview will all cry, boo! That's a noise
Grinned the Roos.
that I simply must hear.
So she paused, and the Roos put her hand to her ear. And she did hear a And she did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, and then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. She stared down at Fairview. The Roos popped her eyes. Then she shook. What she saw was a shocking surprise. Every student down in Fairview, the tall and the small. Maddie, stand up again. Maddie, where are you? Oh, Maddie left. We got the tall. Wait, I'll get it. Okay, every student down in Fairview, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents or school bags at all. She hadn't stopped Christmas break from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the Roos, with her Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling.
How could it be so? It came without ribbons, it came without name tags, it came without presents, boxes, or school bags.
And she puzzled 3 hours till her puzzler was sore. Then the Roos thought of something she hadn't before.
Maybe Christmas break
She thought.
doesn't mean just no school. Maybe Christmas break perhaps means a little more.
And what happened then? Well, in Fairview they say that the Roos's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. the minute her heart didn't feel quite so tight, she whizzed with her load through the bright new LED light, and she brought back the bags and the cafeteria food. And then everyone at once said, "Merry Christmas to all, and a happy woo!"
Awesome job. Students did a great job. Mrs. Rudig, I know, worked very hard with her students to help finalize all the wording in the skit, and all the extra helpers, our narrators, whoever knew Mr. Alvarez and Mrs. Pinnell, what an awesome job they did. So let's give them one more big round of applause. We have one more little treat before we wrap up with Santa. I know he'd like to come back and give us a big farewell. Careful, boys and girls. Nice and slow, nice and slow. Shh. Okay, now, boys and girls that are in the audience, you're going to have to listen very carefully. And boys and girls on stage, I know you've practiced, and I want to make sure that you talk very loudly and slowly so we can hear the wonderful messages you want to share, okay? Guys, you need to wait to All right, extra listening ears on so we can hear.
Well, here we go. Can you believe our teacher picked this? I know. There are all kinds of great words to take this year. It was written in the 1820s. Brody, you used some of the vocabulary words in class last Friday. But I wasn't here that day. Me too. We'll help you guys along as we go as time starts. Maybe we can explain things about the audience also. Good idea!
It was the night before Christmas when all through the house, no creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
Why weren't they stirring? Didn't they like to cook?
Stockings were hung by the chimney with care and hoped that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
Did they actually used to hang the socks by the fireplace?
The children and Mrs. asleep in their beds, while visions of sheep milk raced in their heads.
According to the dictionary, cherubim was a small baby in the shape of a flower. You mean like a pregnant?
And one night in the future, the dining room cat had just little dollar brains for a long winter's nap.
Those are some funny looking peaches.
That's just the kind of crazy things they were back then.
When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. shutters and threw up the sash.
How about shutters and sash?
The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to the objects below.
Hold on, I've got this one. The snow reflects the moon's almost as bright as daytime.
What am I wondering? I should appear from a miniature sleigh and make tiny reindeer.
This part I get, but why did the sled and reindeer little?
Just because they were so kind of far off, it got bigger as they came closer. The little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas, Santa Claus. What are all these different last names?
Rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them all by name.
What in the world are coursers?
As dry leaves that before the wild hurricanes fly, when they meet with an obstacle, not to the sky. So up to the housetop, coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas.
Hold on a second, I'm tired. How many stanzas are in this poem?
And then in a twinkling, I heard on the roof a fencing and flying like a chimney. As I drew in my head and was turning around, then the chimney St. Nicholas came to the back. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had one on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. I've had the twinkle, his dimples all merry, his cheeks are like roses, his mouth like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow.
All this silly talk is making me as cranky as the teacher after the class Halloween party.
Head and held tight in his teeth, and the smoke in his head like a reed. He had a broad face and a real round belly that showed to be left with a full of jelly.
I'd like to, especially strawberry. How about jello? We're losing our focus, everyone. Let's finish this thing.
He was chubby and plump, or a jolly old elf, and at last when I saw him, in spite of himself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and grabbed all the stockings, then turned with a jerk. And laying his finger aside of his nose, giving a nod, up the chimney he rose.
That's a new trick.
He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, away the old flew, and down went the pistol. But he heard him exclaim here, he drove out of sight.
Merry Christmas to all and to love
Nice job, boys and girls. Yes, awesome job. Okay, Santa, come on up. I know these boys and girls are eager to hear a little bit more from you right before we wrap up.
That was a wonderful job. You boys and girls out there have a challenge ahead of you. You got a challenge ahead of you. High school students wrote that nice play. Now you guys have got to follow in their footsteps and come up with something better in the future. Can you do that? Yeah, you have your brain to work. Put your brain to work and come up with something better. Those two deer up here reminded me of two of my deer. The way they shoot their around like that, that's kind of way my deer is. Yes, you have a question? Okay, all right. Question? Where's my sleigh at? Well, you need to understand, people, that this week all that I am doing is going around and checking to find out who's naughty and nice. Good. Okay, I've got my elves on the shelves out there watching you. My teachers report to me about naughty and nice. By the way, I got a question for you. Are the teachers here nice? I'll load up my sleigh and I'll make that trip all the way around the world to take gifts to all the boys and girls. So right now, my sleigh and my reindeer are back at the North Pole. Because the reindeer are supposed to be resting because they got this big trip coming. I came here this time in an airplane. And I landed over at the airport. Some nice lady came and got me in a car and brought me here. Now the reindeer is supposed to be resting, but let me give you a little clue. When I was flying out of the North Pole, I looked down, and guess what the reindeer were doing? Yeah, they were outside having a snowball fight. But let me tell you, when Mrs. Claus barks, the reindeer listen. So I know she'll have everything under control at the North Pole, and they'll get a good rest, and they'll be ready for the long trip. So that's where my sleigh is at, and that's where the reindeer are at right now. Yes. It's a magical sleigh. It's a magical sleigh that takes me quickly to any place I need to go. Yes, Magic Star helps me all.
Boys and girls, we'd love to be able to have all of you ask Santa a question if you wanted to, but it's almost time that we get ourselves ready for lunch. And Santa, I'm sure, probably has plenty of other places that he's got to go and see, and kids and everything because of everything that's going on. So how about we get one more question, Santa, and then we can head on. We'll have to get around to go.
Right there. The orange, yep. What's your question? Right there.
Red?
Yep, in the red.
Egan.
I'm 110 years old this year. I'm a young one.
110.
Quiet down, listen up.
I want
Santa
to
has
give one message from the reindeer, from Mrs. Claus, from the elves, and all the people at the North Pole. We wish you a Merry Christmas.